Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the Dreame H12S Wet and Dry Vacuum. Dreame did send me the sample, but I want you to know that any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging, highlighting some of its key features right here. This is for wet and dry messes. It features intelligent suction adjustments, self-cleaning and hot air drying. It also supports edge cleaning with our single-sided edge clean right there on the brush roller. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our product literature consisting of our user guide and manual. Next, you'll find 500 milliliters of Dreame's multi-surface floor cleaner, and it is shrink wrapped for protection during shipping. Then you'll notice we have 2 attachment and accessory holders for our charging station. Here's a look at the charging stand and station right here. It will also clean and dry itself on this station. Integrated power cord and cable, charging contacts right there up at the top. Next, you'll find an extra included washable filter. We already have one installed on the unit. We also have a multi-purpose cleaning brush and built-in detangler. We have an extra included main brush roller. One is already installed. Here's the handle for the unit with our control buttons here. We have our mode selector and power button, and then we have our cleaning button up at the top. And we got the Dreame X Innovation Lab right there. And then last but not least, we have the main portion of the wet dry vac. Let's look at this in more detail. Starting with the very front of the unit, we got the Dreame logo and branding up at the top, followed by our release here for the dirty water tank. On the dirty water tank, we already have one of our washable and replaceable filters installed. Then we can go ahead, we can open this up to easily wash, empty, and clean after every clean. And then we can just reattach and install everything like so. There's a max fill indicator on the side here too, letting us know when the tank is full. So you have that nice visual cue there. Here's a look at the unit with the dirty water tank removed. Further down with the main brush roller with one side dedicated for side cleaning to get close to your baseboards and trim or pieces of furniture. We have some instructions right here on how to remove the roller for replacement or deeper cleaning. And we have a cover here that we can gently press. Pops right off. We can wash, clean, and dry that, and we have access to the roller. Looking at it from the side, this is how we pop the roller out, just by pressing that button, and then it very easily removes, revealing the rest of the unit with it off. And then we can go ahead, we can install a new one in the opposite fashion. So line it up, snap it in place, and now you go ahead and you got to put this cover right back on. Just like that. Here's your left side profile. Here's your right side profile. Here's the side profile and the other side profile. Here's a look at it from underneath the very bottom of our unit. Here's our back side view. Up at the top, we have our voice prompt settings that we can change right here, and our speaker. We also have our latch for our clean water tank that's removable. And to fill this up, just pop this cap open. And really nice design. So depending on the depth of your sink, very easy to reach this under. It doesn't have to be this tall to refill. Just goes right up and under any faucet like so. And here's a peek with it removed. Then it snaps right back in place. And here's a look at the very top. This is where you're going to install the handle. And then we have our different modes here: drying mode, suction mode, turbo mode, auto mode, and drying time 1 hour reminder down at the bottom of our sticker. This is removable, and obviously this will change depending on what mode you're in once this is powered on and everything's illuminated. Now let's get this set up. First thing we're gonna do is install the handle. It's just gonna press right in place. It'll only fit one way, but make sure you have it lined up properly, just like we have it right here. And then it just snaps right in. And now we have the handle attached to our unit. Next, we can attach the accessory holders here to the base station. They just slide right down and in place like that. We can take our extra filter, set it right there. We can take our multi-purpose cleaning tool, drop it right in, and same with our brush roller. Now it's time to charge the unit up. Here's a look at the charging contacts that are gonna make contact with the base right here. So you just gently take your wet dry vac and you place it on the charger, plug it in, and you're all set and ready to go. Now let's charge it up and try it out. Auto mode. All right, we just finished our first clean. Let's take a look at the results. We'll start with the dirty water tank. So we can easily just pop the tank right off. Let's check that filter first. Oh yeah, look at that. Tons of pet hair trapped in there. Again, this is washable, so very easy to clean. But look at that. I'm glad we popped that off right away. You can kind of see in there. And then we'll just gently remove the lid. And same thing, we have a lot of household content and debris here, some stickers and craft supplies for my kids, as well as all of that pet hair. Disgusting. And then look at the crumbs and the content in there. So in my household, 3 kids, a dog, obviously my wife and myself. So let's dump this dirty water out. Nasty. And then we got a lot of debris down in there, so you definitely want to rinse this out too. But take a look at that. We got floaters up at the top and then the heavy sediment and crumbs settling at the bottom. Super disgusting. But wait, there's more. Let's look at the main brush roller, because after all, this can clean and dry itself. So popped off the cover here, we have a lot of pet hair already congregating and hanging out right there underneath the cover. So make sure every once in a while you pop this off and you wipe it down, or just rinse it off under the sink when you're cleaning the dirty water tank. And then I want to show you the brush roller itself. So the brush roller looks really, really clean here, just like new. So count me impressed there. It's definitely doing its job. But you will notice for us with pet hair, we do have some hair that is just gathering and accumulating right at the edge where the brush and the plastic housing meet. So keep that in mind. You might want to wipe this down every once in a while as well, but that looks as good as new. I've had the privilege of testing out over 20 wet-dry vacuums. Let me share with you my findings. This database will continue to grow over time so we can refine the data and get a better picture. But with over 20 units tested so far, things are coming to light pretty clearly already. First, in regards to decibel, how loud this is compared to the competition, 76 decibels compared to 77. So it's right in line. It's not going to be exceptionally loud or exceptionally quiet compared to your typical average wet-dry vac. Next, we have our in-use airflow. This is measured in FPM. We are continuing to refine these tests. This one we just started, so we've tested 8 units so far. That will continue to grow. But what we want to see is higher values for this score and the next metric that we're going to look at. 539 FPM compared to the average of 406. And same thing can be said with in-use suction. We want to see this value higher. So 1.69 kPAs compared to the average of 1.45. So performance-wise, with those tests, we're performing above average, which is great. Next, with rated power, this is measured in watts. 200 watts rated power compared to the average of 300, so 100 watts less. What that means in light of our previous test is they're just getting more with less. In regards to battery life, we're spot on with the average of 35 minutes. And for those that are concerned, that's more than enough time to get you through cleaning your house once or twice. And the reason we get 35 minutes of runtime is our 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, something we typically find in Dreame wet dry vacs that continues with this one is the nice large clean and dirty water tanks. 900 milliliter clean water tank, that's 120 milliliters above average. And for the dirty water tank, we're 50 milliliters above average. What that means for you is just less trips to and from the sink to refill or empty. Now we'll talk about some features that are either absent or present on this particular model. First up is steam cleaning. This does not have any steam functionality. We only see that on 1% of units so far. Next is self-cleaning. Now this does have self-cleaning. We've seen that on 95% of units so far. Only one unit so far we've tested that hasn't had self-cleaning, and that's the Tyneco iFloor 3 Breeze. So pour one out in the chat for that Tyneco. Now a feature we're starting to see trickle down to more and more wet dry vacs is hot water self-cleaning. In this case though, our H12S does not have that feature. Only 14% of models we've tested have it so far. Along that same vein is hot air drying. This does have hot air drying up to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. And we've seen this feature on 43% of wet dry vacs we've tested. Next, let's talk about edge cleaning. So your options are 0, 1, or 2. So in this case, we have one side for edge cleaning. Our data is telling us that we see wet dry vacs that have on average 1.4 sides. What does that mean? We have a lot of 2s that are pulling the data up compared to 1s or 0s. Next is LED lights. Now, for all the other features that this hasn't had so far that we've covered, the H12S definitely should have an LED light. I really wish they had included this, even though the percentages don't tell us that it should. It really feels like a missed opportunity for this wet dry vac to have an LED light. In low light environments, it's really a nice feature to have, even in bright light environments, to just shine light directly on the area and piece of floor that you're cleaning. Moving right along to self-propel. This is not a feature I was expecting the H12S to have, and in this case, it doesn't have it. You typically find that on the very highest end premium models, so we're only seeing that on 9% of units that we've tested. Kind of like the LED headlights, I wish this had the lie flat capabilities. Once you use a wet dry vac with the ability to basically go down 180 degrees and you can still vacuum on the floor, it's hard to go back to one without it. Only 9% again of units that we've tested have that, and it's usually found on select models that really is their niche and that's what they're going after, or high-end flagship models. Any of those two, you'll tend to find that feature, but we're seeing it more and more on the market, and it's definitely an awesome feature. Like LED lights, if you can snag one that has that and the lie flat reach, you'll be really happy. Those are features that after you use, it'll be hard to go back to one without. That leads us to our final question. How much does this cost? Well, looking at the average wet dry vacuum cleaner, this will cost a couple $100s less, but if you recall, the performance was at or near, or even in some cases above average. And in regards to feature set, it overachieved in the features that it has compared to your average wet dry vacuum cleaner. So overall, the value is definitely there for the H12S. So where does that leave us with our Dreame H12S? Let me share with you my final thoughts. I was pleasantly surprised that this outperformed the H12 Pro and the Dreame H14 in our in-use testing. So that's due to the max mode that this has. I found it interesting that max mode is not available on the other models I just mentioned. They do have an ultra mode, but you can tell this one really picks it up in that max mode. That isn't something we see on the other Dreame models. The display's nice. The different suction modes are great. Auto, max, or if you want to do straight suction without any liquid, you have that option too. And a nice touch that the display up top changes when you have it on the charger. It actually displays out. So when you're using it, it'll display everything you can read this way, but when it's on the charger, it needs to display, it's in cleaning or the percentage of it drying. It displays it out because that's how you're most likely going to be looking at this, as this will be put up against a wall or something like that. So really cool, clever option there. Now let me share with you some things that I want to see improve with this in the future. I basically mentioned all of these already, but I want to point out from our data and findings, it shouldn't technically have these features, even though I want it to. We're not paying for them, and in fact, it's already overachieving for what it is. But no LED light, no 180-degree lie flat reach, and there's no dual side cleaning. It's just the single side. Lastly, I do want to point out though, compared to some of the other models with drying, this one seems a little bit louder. So I'd like that to be quieter or quicker in the future. They do have fast drying models that only take 5 minutes to dry. That's really cool tech that I'd like to see trickle down to this one someday too, so they don't have to worry about it making noise for an hour as it's drying its main roller brush.